Chinese music artist Nguyen comes a powerful new anthem honoring the men and women who gave everything for this country. Every star, every stripe, from Cowboy Logic.
Here's to the fallen, they stood in the gap.
With unforgettable lyrics honoring Valley Forge, Iwo Jima, Arlington, and generations of brave Americans, this is more than a song. It's a reminder of who we are. Download Every Star, Every Stripe right now. Just scan the QR code or search for it on iTunes. Rab family, let's run it up the charts like only you can do.
Welcome back to this Real America's Voice news break. I'm Terrence Bates. President Trump's whirlwind trip to China is underway as the commander-in-chief touched down in Beijing earlier this morning. He'll participate in a meeting and greeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping before heading into a bilateral meeting around 10 o'clock tonight, U.S. time. That will be around 10 o'clock in the morning in China. Tomorrow, the 47th president will participate in a state banquet with President Xi. The two will also take an official friendship photo leading up to a bilateral tea there in Beijing. The commander-in-chief will wrap his trip up on Friday and return home to the United States. More than a dozen U.S. tech leaders, along with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, are traveling with the president. Real America's Voice will be covering the president's trip even late tonight.
Tonight, the eyes of the world are locked on Beijing. The two greatest superpowers on Earth meeting face to face. President Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, two leaders whose decisions could reshape the future of the planet.
He's for China and I'm for the USA, and it's very simple.
What will be decided about Iran? What will be said about Taiwan? And who will emerge as the economic superpower of the future? Behind closed doors, the stakes could not be higher. Markets, militaries, allies, enemies, the whole world watching every move. Together, Real America's Voice and the War Room are taking you inside the story.
We're at war with China. My recommendation is throw down hard.
Join Steve Bannon alongside special guest Jack Posobiec and more. Trump in China. Special coverage begins tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern to midnight, only on Real America's Voice.
That's the way it is. That's the way it stands. We're going to do very well.
Back here at home, FBI Director Kash Patel trying to convince Congress to appropriate $12.5 billion for the Bureau's upcoming fiscal year. Tuesday, he made his case before a Senate Budget Committee. While the heads of the ATF and DEA also attended the hearing, Director Patel was the focus of Democrat lawmakers' criticism as they questioned him about reports of excessive drinking and partying related to the nation's top cop.
A total farce. I don't even know where you get this stuff, but it doesn't make it credible because you say so.
I'm not saying it, Director Patel. It's been written and documented.
You are literally saying it.
No, I'm saying that these are reports, Director Patel.
No, unlike your baseless reports, the only person that was slinging margaritas in El Salvador on the taxpayer dollar with a convicted gangbanging rapist was you.
You know,
the only person that ran up a $7,000 bar tab in Washington, D.C. at the lobby bar was you.
So what you just heard there was just part of the interaction between Director Patel and Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen. You may remember the senator traveled to El Salvador last year to push for the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who had been deported from Maryland. President Trump's pick to succeed Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is one major step closer to leading the central bank. Kevin Warsh won confirmation in the Senate on Tuesday, with Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman being the only Democrat to vote with the Republican majority. While the vote makes Warsh a Federal Reserve governor for the next 15 years, a vote expected to happen as soon as today would install the 56-year-old as Fed chairman for a 4-year term. Current Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's term ends on Friday. That's a quick check of your headlines. As always, we appreciate having you along for the ride. We're going to take a quick break, then get you back to your regularly scheduled programming.
half protection is not enough.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel, locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by patriots for patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills
and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Where truth matters and America wakes up informed.
An interesting week.
They all are. This is your country. This is your morning. This is Daybreak with Steve and Ivey Gruber. America, let's do it together.
Love you, Ivey.
Love you too.
And it starts right now.
All right, welcome to it as we kick off another brand new day here at the program. Greatly appreciate you being here, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom in the relentless pursuit of truth. Three big things this hour. Number one, the Clarity Act. A little closer to reality and will likely transform the way we do business in the world. It could also send cryptocurrencies soaring into all new territory and all new highs, creating new crypto millionaires. Number two, J.D. Vance warning all 50 states to crack down on Medicaid fraud immediately or face getting federal cuts. It came during a press conference where he revealed billions more in fraud, and where? California. And number three, Donald Trump is in China for the first time since 2017. And China's literally rolling out the red carpet. Literally. Hundreds of chanting children waving U.S. and Chinese flags greeted President Trump and his entourage yesterday. And that entourage includes Elon Musk, Apple boss Tim Cook, his son Eric, and even Marco Rubio, who previously had been sanctioned by China after he called out that nation for its human rights violations back in 2020. We're watching a state dinner. We'll take you there live for a little look as it happens today. American flags even lined the highway that President Trump and his motorcade used to get to their hotel. America is coming from a position of strength, and it's clearer than ever. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum says our strength comes in part from our energy independence. Listen to this.
Well, yeah, he buys 80% of Iran's oil, and China is the most energy-dependent country in the world, just the opposite of the U.S., which is the most energy-dominant country in the world. China importing 11.5 million barrels of oil a day just to keep their economy going, and their strategic stockpile is dwindling, and their economy is faltering. They're super dependent on imported energy, and China also imports calories every day. They don't raise enough food to feed everybody in that country. So President Trump is going in we've got energy security and food security in America. China has neither of those things. He's in a great position in these negotiations.
So with the president,
we'll see how that plays out. Now, this year, we've seen record levels of energy production here in the United States. And although we might not be feeling the relief today, it's an investment in the future that China simply cannot match. Trump has a hefty to-do list for this week. Stabilize trade with China, reduce the U.S. trade deficit, and seek cooperation from China on the war in Iran and on stopping the flow of fentanyl to this country. It is a tall order, but if anyone can do it, I believe it'll be the master negotiator who can do the art of the deal. Of course, Democrats are throwing a hissy fit over the trip. Senator Chuck Schumer, where did Chuck go? But here he is.
There's an old saying that only Nixon could go to China, but soon they'll say, only Trump could sell out to China. Donald Trump wants a deal with China so badly, he could sell out on American manufacturing. He could sell out on chips. He could sell out on Taiwan, which produces many of these chips. He could sell out on AI, and on any number of grave issues.
And Chuck Schumer could sell out to the far-left extremists in his party. Oh, wait, he's already done that. That's big talk from one of Joe Biden's biggest supporters, by the way. I don't remember Chuck having any problems with the fact that Hunter Biden served on the board of a Chinese private equity firm that had ties to the CCP and made millions from a Chinese energy firm linked to the CCP. I don't remember Chuck complaining about Biden pandering to the Chinese when he ended a DOJ program that targeted Chinese espionage and intellectual property theft, all in the name of racism. But Chuck and his cronies sure have a lot to say now about a trip that is aimed at securing American interests and priorities. Trump, of course, not fazed by the critics. He says he only sees a lot of good things on the horizon. Here's the president.
President, what is your message to President Xi as it relates to the Iran war?
Well, I think, number one, we're going to have a long talk about it. I think he's been relatively good, to be honest with you. You look at the blockade, no problem. They get a lot of their oil from that area. We've had no problem, and he's been a friend of mine. He's been somebody that we get along with, and I think you're going to see that good things are going to happen. This is going to be a very exciting trip. A lot of good things are going to happen.
Now, hopefully that is the case, because China has proven time again to be our most serious adversary, an enemy. Let's be clear. Just this week, the mayor of Acadia, California, has resigned after pleading guilty to being a CCP spy, a Chinese spy. Eileen Wang worked with her co-conspirators to shovel out Chinese propaganda to residents in her city on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party, who was giving Wang and her friends explicit directives to do exactly that. You see, China never stops working to infiltrate and influence and undermine our nation. They never stop. Senator Ron Johnson says it's no surprise to anyone who takes China's threat to us seriously. Here's the senator.
What do you want the American public to know about what we have found out here?
Well, Sandra, the American public ought to read Sun Tzu's Art of War, because it's exactly the kind of warfare that China conducts across the board. They're long-term thinkers. They have pervasively invaded America with the investments into our university system. They have, plundered America to the tune of probably trillions of dollars of our intellectual property, helped build up their economy. They just don't fight fair. And this is one example of that as well. So, no, we need to be on guard. I wish China was a friendly, competitive, economic rival, but they're an unfriendly adversary. They want to replace us, which would be very bad for the world.
All is fair in love and war, and trust me, the Chinese believe they are at war with us. Many Republican leaders, like Senator Marsha Blackburn, says that the CCP is always looking to stick its finger into every facet of American life, and we can never let our guard down. Listen to this.
China will lie, cheat, steal in order to get our intellectual property. And the CCP is involved in this, whether it is embedding spyware into some of their hardware for our online systems, whether it is trying to get into research institutions, whether it is their soft propaganda programs like Confucius classrooms. And let me tell you something, any high school that is having these students from China, you need to be very careful about that. You need to watch out who is coming in. These colleges that still have Confucius institutes, think about what you're doing. These cities that still have sister city programs with these cities in China. Harris, what they're doing is opening the door for this soft propaganda, and bear in mind the Chinese Communist Party is directing every bit of this.
Of course they are. Like I have said before, I don't like 700,000 Chinese students on U.S. soil, and they don't have to be here to wreak havoc on American lives. China's cooking up something far more sinister under the waves. Communist China and Russia targeting our undersea cables, the fragile nervous system carrying 99% of global internet traffic, and a staggering $10 trillion in daily financial transactions. Think about that. One coordinated strike and they could crash the internet, freeze banking, wreck energy markets, and blind our military. That's not science fiction. That's hybrid warfare, gray zone sabotage with anchors and fancy cable-cutting tech Beijing has already tested at 3,500 meters beneath the surface. Let that marinate for a moment while we'll take a break. We'll be watching that state dinner in China as well. We'll get some live pictures. In fact, there's President Trump sitting down now in China. We'll be right back.
They're counting on you to stay silent. They think you won't.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel, locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by patriots for patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills
and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Through every storm, every moment of uncertainty,
Everybody needs to pray for Charlie Kirk right now.
RAV has stood strong.
We're not going to tolerate this stuff anymore.
Turn that anger into motivation to save this nation.
When we move together, there is power.
The cries of this widow will echo like a battle cry.
This is more than news. It's a movement.
This revolution of people taking their countries back.
A turning point. A chance to be part of something greater than yourself. Scan the QR code and stand with RAV. The story isn't over, and neither is your part in it. Step in. Be counted. Be heard. Together, we are RAV.
We will achieve American greatness. And we are just getting started.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
My name is Kyle. I'm with Real America's Voice because we can chat with each other, the host, even management. We are the RAV family, and we're better together.
This is Diane from Rhode Island. Why do I love Real America's Voice? Because they deliver us facts from hosts who love America and love God. What's not to like?
All right, live look at the state banquet in Beijing. The president has been seated. The dictator was there a moment ago. His chair is empty at the moment. Not sure. Maybe he needed the restroom. Meanwhile, Taiwan has already seen dozens of these incidents attacking underwater cables. Let's get back to that because Chinese vessels conveniently accidentally slicing cables and cutting them off for months. Accidentally, of course. An expert testified at a Senate hearing last week on this issue and said these cable accidents are definitely deliberate sabotage. Here's what he said.
No chance in a lot of these cases that these are just, quote unquote, just accidents. Dragging an anchor for 1 nautical mile because you've lost steerage, that's possible. Dragging it at full speed through the Gulf of Finland for 200 nautical miles, severing cables and pipelines along the way, that is not normal action, and that is not what we should be accepting.
Yeah, not an accident. Taiwan and the U.S. have been able to apprehend these criminals on an occasion or two, and when they have, it's been very clear that these vessels are not just innocent cargo ships. Listen to this example.
Actually, what happened in the case of the Changhua Telecoms line when last year the Hongtai 58, this vessel from China, cut the cable. The Taiwanese Coast Guard was alerted by Changhua Telecom right before that cable cut took place because they knew this vessel was sitting there. And then they acted just a few hours later when they got their kind of armada together to seize this vessel. And what they found, this was an empty Chinese vessel that was a bulk carrier that had no bulk on it. Its cargo doors were actually rusted shut so that it couldn't be used for that. So it was only used as a sabotage vessel. And the prosecutor that I talked to likened it to a, quote, pawn sacrifice from the PRC. In other words, Xi sending out a vessel that he doesn't care if he loses.
Yeah, sounds like an act of war to me. And this is how China thinks it can choke Taiwan out without firing a shot and break America's will to stand up for them. They've identified our biggest vulnerability while we've been asleep at the wheel. And Schmidt warned the Senate panel that the threat is imminent. China could choose to wipe everything out any day now, any day it wants. One more comment.
I've often been asked, well, we have this redundancy, so China couldn't possibly cut all 14 cables. I said, you got another thing coming, because guess what? If they can cut one or two cables by dragging an anchor pretty easily in an all-out military assault or invasion or even a blockade or a quarantine, those can be cut pretty quickly. What that will have is an immediate impact on the global economy. It's kind of like the Straits of Hormuz closure by the IRGC for the internet. And it means that all of our economic trade with Taiwan, which is significant, will be cut off, not just for us, but for our partners and allies. And I'll tell you, it will make military coordination more difficult. It won't.
Yeah. Thank God we've got a president who puts America first. Trump's not going to play nice with these cable-cutting communists. He will demand strength, secure our infrastructure, and stop letting Beijing hold our economy hostage. But those cables are vulnerable, friends. Weak leadership let this threat grow. Trump's the one who will actually confront it. And undersea cables, I'm sorry to say, are not our only vulnerability. Taiwan is also the world's leading producer of semiconductors. You probably knew that. And we use those things everywhere. Cell phones, laptops, washing machine, refrigerator, your toaster probably, even the LED bulbs in your house. They all rely on semiconductors. Something that experts also are warning is a liability as long as China continues to threaten Taiwan. Here's more.
And I think China's learning lessons from Iran and Hormuz about how it can do that, essentially creating a market shock or the risk of a market shock to coerce the United States to the negotiating table. Americans with 401ks would feel it right away. Iran took 20% of the global oil supply offline. And overnight, oil prices spiked, the bond market moved, stocks sold off. Now, if you think that was bad, consider semiconductors. Taiwan makes 90% of the world's advanced semiconductors and 99% of the world's very, very most frontier chips, the NVIDIA GPUs that are training the cutting edge OpenAI and Claude and Gemini models. Now, there isn't a strategic reserve. When Iran blockaded Hormuz, the United States, Japan, allied countries have strategic stockpiles of oil that they can release to soothe the effect on the price. But there's no equivalent for...
Yeah, no equivalent for semiconductors. One move by Xi and global tech collapses. And that's not how leverage Beijing has been building while we sleep. We've seen their playbooks, spies in our cities, propaganda machines in California towns, sabotage crews slicing undersea cables that carry $10 trillion in daily transactions. Weak Biden leadership, complete with Hunter's sweetheart deals and gutting counterespionage programs, let the danger grow exponentially. But now, President Trump is in China, meeting Xi as we speak, from a position of real strength. He's there to cut better trade deals, slash the deficit, stop the fentanyl, and protect American interests. No more pandering. No more weakness. Thank God we finally have a leader that can go there and stand up for America first. The master negotiator back at the table, and patriots everywhere should be hopeful for the future. Let's take a quick look now. President Trump at this state banquet in Beijing at this hour. I don't think the man ever sleeps, to be honest with you. It has been quite a fanfare. Look, let's be clear about this. They literally rolled out the red carpet. They don't do that. Well, they don't do that for just about anyone. They did it for President Trump. Remember Barack Obama? He had to get off the back of the plane when he went to China because they didn't even put the stairs up to Air Force One. This is totally different. Totally different reception. Totally different attitude. But do I trust the Chinese? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're going to keep this up live for you. This segment proudly sponsored by PuroClean's Veterans Initiative. PuroVet. Veterans can find purpose in property restoration and ownership of a company. We salute those who serve. 855-PuroVet or purovet.com to find out more. If you're a veteran or know somebody who is, this is a great program. Get to the front of the line, and you can have your own company. You get to the front of the line, purovet.com. All right. We'll keep an eye on that live feed from Beijing as it continues. President Trump there in attendance. The dictator is there as well. Dictator Xi. He's not a president, by the way. He was never elected to anything. That's why we call him a dictator. And there it is, folks. We'll be right back.
Leaf Filter is America's #1 gutter protection system.
Yeah, because it's built right.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
At the podium now giving comments. Let's listen in.
今天我们度过了非常美好的一天。首先要感谢习近平主席这一盛大的欢迎，那么也非常感谢在这一次历史性的国事访问当中非常慷慨地接待了我的代表团。那么今天早些时候，我们跟中方进行了富有成效以及具有建设性的对话。那今天晚上将是我们另外的一次机会，能够共同再次讨论我们今天早些时候已经讨论到的一些问题，以及我们的共同利益，以及我们如何能够为全人类塑造更好、更安全的未来。
The relationship between the American and Chinese people goes all the way back to America's founding. The first American consul to China, Samuel Shaw, arrived on the first American trading ship to reach these shores in 1784. The Chinese merchants had a name for the Americans. They called their visions the New People. 2.5 centuries later, that first connection has grown into one of the most consequential relationships in world history.
美国人民和中国人民之间的友谊可以追溯到美国的建国之初。那么，美国的第一任驻华大使萨缪尔·肖先生在1784年乘坐第一艘美国的商船到达了中国的沿岸。当时中国的商人是这样称呼到来的美国访客，他们将当时到来的美国访客称为一个崭新的民族。250年后的今天，这一个当初的友谊已经慢慢的演变成为当今世界当中最举足轻重的关系之一。
From the beginning, our citizens have shared a deep sense of mutual respect. Founding Father Benjamin Franklin published the sayings of Confucius in his colonial newspaper. And today's sculpture, recognizing that ancient Chinese sage, is carved into the face of the United States Supreme Court very proudly.
All right, we're going to keep an eye on it. Obviously, a translator there with the president at that state banquet in Beijing. We'll keep an eye on it and all the developments throughout the morning here on Daybreak.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
I'm fueled up now. Woo!
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the RAV hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
Hi, I'm Bridgie. And why do I love Rob? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
All right, President Trump addressing the delegation at that state banquet in Beijing this morning. Very cordial tone, by the way. And here's what we've learned thus far of their initial meetings. The Chinese and the United States agreeing that there should be no economic warfare, that it is mutually beneficial if both countries work together for trade and economic purposes. And the second thing, the most important thing, is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, so says Xi Jinping, so says the Chinese Communist Party, so says the administration in Beijing. They agree with the president. They don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Of course, Iran would be able to threaten China far easier because of their proximity to China than the United States, of course. So that is a big decision. Let's listen to the president real quickly.
It's a special world with the two of us united and together.
那么至于商业当中的纽带以及我们的
I don't speak Mandarin. I'm going to tell you today. I don't speak Mandarin. How are we with the major there? All right, we're going to go to Major General John King, retired, because we're going to talk about this Iranian situation. Major, thank you for being here. You have a lot of experience in these things. I appreciate you spending time with us this morning. Can you hear me, sir? All right, a little technical difficulty with him at the moment. I think we've got him now. Major, can you hear me? Nope. All right, so one of the big controversy, of course, as you heard earlier, In the monologue, China gets a tremendous amount of its oil from Iran. And so when the Strait of Hormuz is closed, it really creates problems for this nation of China. They import almost 12 million barrels of oil daily. And when Venezuela was cut off on the 2nd of February, that created one pinch point, and the problems with what's happening in Iran creates another pinch point for China. Their reserves are being depleted, as are a lot of the reserves around the world because of the ongoing conflict and the problems in the Strait of Hormuz. Over the last couple of days, Iran has put out as many as 400 fast attack boats to harass vessels and create havoc in the Strait of Hormuz. And if that's not solved, the country that pays the highest price is, of course, China. Major, you're there now. Good morning, sir. Can you hear me? All right. Well, we're just going to have some technical difficulties with that one today. I guess that's the way it works some mornings, right? Here's President Trump giving a toast to the Chinese. Let's listen to that real quick. As I said, very cordial here today with the president. Very cordial. His comments very accommodating and positive. But there are serious conversations going on in Beijing today, as you well know. The president making his way back to the table now. This is a reception like I have not seen for any president since maybe Richard Nixon. The way that he is being treated is well above what would be expected. So the president there, and again, the conflict with Iran is maybe the most consequential for the nation of China. Again, 12 million barrels a day that they import, that's a critical problem for them if it drags on. But here's the complicating factor. China continues to help Iran behind the scenes. It seems counterproductive, doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but they have helped the Iranians behind the scenes for years. Well, if we can come to an agreement where China says we're not going to do that anymore, and that's a very big if we can get to a point where China says we're not going to do that anymore, it could mean a change for what's happening in Beijing and in Tehran. So we'll keep an eye on that. Having trouble getting the major on, so we'll keep an eye on everything happened. But the ceasefire is going to hold for a couple more days, despite the fast attack boats and so forth, which, as I sit here and watch that play out, it would seem to me that we have the technology to take out these boats, but so far, they've been swarming ships for about 2 days, creating havoc in the Strait of Hormuz and problems for everyone. And as long as that continues to play out, the price of oil is going to remain high. It's at $100 a barrel today. But again, I go back to the price of oil. $100 a barrel is not dictating $5 gas. It simply does not. And thus, the speculators believe that oil is going to 150. That's the only way that would make sense, if they believe that oil is going to go to 150. Gas around the country is an average of $4.55, according to AAA this morning. But oil is at $100 even a barrel. It does not calculate. Oil was $140 under Joe Biden. Gas got to just $5 a gallon, but many people around the country today are paying $5 a gallon. Again, it went up 50 cents in 24 hours. It doesn't make sense to me. It probably doesn't make sense to you. Because oil at $100 a barrel should put gas at 50 or 60 cents a gallon lower, maybe even less than that. But they're playing on the futures markets and trying to figure out where we go from here. So we'll keep an eye on all of that as we move forward. All right. Let's look at one more thing that the president is saying. Can you pull bite 3, Anthony? Because this is important. This is what we're talking about when we talk about the economy. Here's the president saying, look, once we get the oil flowing again, once we make a deal with China on trade, and once we get the Clarity Act in place that will dictate crypto, and that's on Capitol Hill this week, this economy could really get white hot. Here's the president.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. You know, if we get...
Yeah. Everything's going to be stronger, and it's going to have to be. Because from where we stand right now, we have a housing market that seems like it's a bubble. We have credit card debt that is soaring for too many American consumers. We have challenges in the economy that we can overcome, but we need to overcome it with success in Iran, with success on this visit to Beijing, and with success on other fronts. And as we head into the midterms, this is all going to play out incredibly, and it's going to play out for all of us, right? All right, so we will correct those issues. Apologize for that. Sorry about that to start your day. I slept great last night, though. That's why I can handle it. I'm in good shape here. Again, I wear the Oura ring, and it says I got a crown again last night. I've had a crown like 9 days in a row from sleeping well on my ghost bed, the American-made bed. Look, I sleep like a baby. I don't get hot. I don't toss and turn. It's just been a game changer for me, this ghost bed. Built in America, it's not furniture. It really is health equipment. Look, you're in your bed more than you are anywhere else. Think about that. And if you're not sleeping right, you're tossing and turning, you're taking meds like pain medicine to go to sleep, that's not working for you at all. These beds are designed for relief and recovery, and you should be healing when you sleep. I am, thankfully, so you can overcome little glitches in your day. I noticed the difference right away when we first started using it. So again, if you're waking up stiff or tossing and turning, try something different. Try the American-made ghost bed, because you can feel better. You can feel as good as I do. And you can try it for 101 nights, no risk. 101 nights. If you don't like it, send it back. Ghost Bed running their Memorial Day special right now, plus an extra 10% off for you because you listen to this program. Ghostbed.com, promo code is Gruber. Ghostbed.com, promo code is Gruber. I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ben Cozy. Isn't traveling a pain in the neck? You're cramped, uncomfortable, and forget about
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
I'm fueled up now. Woo!
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the Rav Hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
Hi, I'm Bridgie. And why do I love Rob? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
All right, AI will be one of the big topics in Beijing as well. And the question about AI is, where are we going and how are we getting there and how fast are we going into the darkness of things that we don't even know what the capabilities are? That's been a concern for me and for most of you for quite some time now. Plus, you see these data centers being put up at lightning speed. So I'm concerned. Lance LaRusso is the founder of the Blue Line Lawyer Institute, author of When Cops Kill in Blue News, a former law enforcement officer and FOP Attorney of the Year. Could AI be weaponized in this country against you and I, and maybe against law enforcement too? I mean, you look where AI is going, all these conversations, you have to wonder. Lance, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate being back. It's kind of interesting. I attended a few years ago, I attended a law enforcement conference with a bunch of attorneys and law enforcement officers, and there was a lot of fear and concerns about the unknown of AI. And the next week, I attended a conference with a group of entrepreneurs called Strategic Coach I've been part of for about 10 years. The first group was just about scared to death, and the next group could not be more excited. I think it hits both sides. And for law enforcement, the issue of deep fakes, the issue of manipulating what you see on the screen. And as the prosecutors used to say to juries, you can believe what you see in front of you. And the prosecutors, having defense lawyers saying, well, don't disregard what you see on that video of my client robbing the store. Don't believe your lying eyes. Can we believe what we see on video? So law enforcement is taking steps to get around that, to make sure we preserve the integrity of the evidence we need.
Yeah, that's important. Look, you walk down any city street in America, you're on 20 cameras, 30 cameras, whatever you're on. You get in your car now, thanks to Joe Biden, your car is going to monitor what you're doing, who you're talking to, what you're saying. That information can be shared directly with insurance companies. I don't like that. But it can be shared with anybody. And that's my concern, constant surveillance. Look, I'm all for law enforcement and the videos and being able to collect criminals because they're on video and there's no lying about it. But there are concerns about privacy and Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable search. I'm sure you can appreciate those concerns.
Oh, sure can. I mean, I think the irony, and you just have to think about it, the people who were singing about Big Brother in the 60s and 70s actually have devices in their houses that you can talk to and order things off Amazon. So the level that people are willing to accept has changed. I think that the guardrails, and I heard somebody explain things like flock cameras or video cameras, or even the cameras that are in people's cars that are filming everyone around them. There's guardrails around that, and guardrails are meant to keep people safe. They're also meant to protect from dangers that even people may not understand. Some of the recognition and some of the privacy concerns are frankly kind of silly. We have people who are standing on the middle of a street corner saying, I don't want to be videotaped. Well, you're being videotaped and you're out in the public, and there's plenty of cases that said you have no expectation of privacy if you're walking down the street. Now, whether or not somebody can record a conversation that you're having privately, that gets into a different area. The biggest concern for me with law enforcement, I've represented about 191 officers involved in shootings, and there has to be some integrity when we're looking at body camera, we're looking at surveillance video, we're looking at video from a bystander across the street, to know that that video has not been manipulated. And in two ways. One is preserved for court and any type of intense analysis that's being done in any venue. But then also in the public realm, the public is entitled to transparency, but they're entitled to genuine transparency, not some sort of manipulated video that is being thrown around to try to stoke people up or say something bad about the officer. And way before this, in 2016, I was involved in a case where an officer was involved in a shooting, and we had to explain to the court in open court that there were methods, that there were versions of the video that had been manipulated that were available online.
Yeah, always a concern. Let me ask you about this. Here's something that's come up on my radar here recently. Let me ask you how you feel about this. You've got LPRs, license plate readers, that the police have had in their cars for years now. Any car goes by, it quickly runs it through. If you got wants, warrants, whatever it could be, you can track a criminal real quickly. Now there's a discussion about AI license plates that will track cars wherever they go. And I think that, a lot of politicians, they see something like this, they get all misty-eyed thinking, what a wonderful thing. I don't think it's a wonderful thing. I don't need to be tracked if I go to the grocery store, or if it's a Sunday afternoon and I go to the local pub and have a beer. I don't think that's anybody's business. And yet that's the world we're heading into, full speed ahead, aren't we?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on how you look at it. If you look at how this has developed and the level of comfort people have had with it, nobody wanted to, and this is just writ large, nobody wanted to stop at toll booths on turnpikes to get a card and have the card stamped because it delayed them. So we started using tags for that. I know down in Jekyll Island, which is in Georgia, instead of stopping to get a tag or push a button, it'll use a card reader to know that you've paid. And we've extrapolated that to be tracking information based on tags. So on one hand, everybody wants law enforcement officers to be able to immediately find the lost child, the kidnapped child, the disabled adult with dementia who's driving around in circles somewhere in the Midwest and needs help. And on the other hand, people say, well, what are you doing with it? The question is, what do you do with the information when it's there? And I think there's been a lot of guardrails put in place to having the information just either erased or not used without certain permission. So the login information for law enforcement for that purpose has been restricted, and there has to be a law enforcement purpose in most jurisdictions in order to even access it.
Well, so far, but I think the technology is going a lot faster than the law can keep up, Lance. I think a lot of people feel that way. The law, I mean, the technology is going so fast, and we see how the legislatures of the states and the federal government work slowly and painfully. Lance, good conversation, though. We're going to keep coming back to it because it's not changing. This is the road we're on, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Always. Greatly appreciate it. Again, what do you think about all this AI, all these cameras, all of this surveillance of you 24 hours a day? Send me an email, stevegruber.com. I'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. Drew Pinsky. I've been a physician for 4 decades. I've been looking at the aging process for a long time.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
I'm fueled up now. Woo!
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the Rav Hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on. My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
For the crypto crowd, it's been something that they've been talking about for a long time, the Clarity Act. You know, I've got people, I own a little bit of crypto, not much, just a little bit. Dabble, I guess, would be the best way to put it. And people are saying, people that know, saying that when the Clarity Act, which will define crypto, make it available for institutions and so forth, make it more mainstream banking, if you will, that the value of the crypto markets could go up by several $1 trillion because there'll be an influx of capital from big players. AARP yesterday endorsing this Clarity Act. So it's getting endorsements from the left and the right and all over the place. And it's going through the markups and so forth on Capitol Hill. But the value of crypto could go up several times. 8 times is a number that a lot of people are at. The value of the crypto markets, which means, where was Bitcoin? Was at like $80,000. If it goes up 8 times, it's at $640,000. There are even predictions, and look, I don't put any stock in this, but I tell you what the predictions are, that Bitcoin could go to $1 million a coin. That's, you know, and look, I dabble in it, but that's kind of frightening. Here's something that's worth, just say it's worth $100,000, and you have one. But do you really have it? No, it's in some nebulous computer somewhere. You don't actually physically have this asset. It's always a little unsettling, but the world is heading in that direction. You know, you've got your phone that can make payments with Apple Pay and other similar applications. You've got ways to go through and, you know, at some of these grocery stores, you can put your hand up. It'll screen your hand. That frightens me, too, to be honest with you. But that's the world we're living in, and that's where it's going. And if crypto goes up 8 times, well, I wouldn't be disappointed, I'll tell you that. I'd be kind of thrilled with that, even though I don't have much. It'd be worth 8 times more, whatever I do have, right? And same with you. Do you dabble in crypto? Do you think it's a frightening thing? What do you think about cryptocurrencies? The Clarity Act is coming. It's going to make its way through because it has support from the left and the right. And that's going to put in the rules and the guidelines. Tell me what you think. Go to stevegruber.com, stevegruber.com. Send me an email. I'm really curious what you think about this, where you live, what do you think it's going to be like in 5 years or 10. All right? We'll take a break. We'll keep watching what's happening in Beijing with the president and everything else. We'll be right back.
How many times have you tried to clean a stubborn mess but end up with no?
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
I'm fueled up now. Woo!
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the RAV hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
back. Jonathan Griffin, Precious Director of Advertising and Partner Development, joins us today from AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. How are you today, Jonathan? Thanks so much for being with us.
Doing very well. Thank you for having me.
So a lot of our listeners are tired of organizations like AARP pushing left-leaning policies while claiming to speak for seniors. Tell us about AMAC and why it was founded as a true conservative option.
Absolutely, and that frustration is exactly why AMAC was founded. AMAC stands for the Association of Mature American Citizens, and we were created because millions of Americans over 50 felt politically homeless. You know, they looked at organizations, as you mentioned, like AARP and realized, wait a second, these groups do not represent my values anymore. For example, AARP famously supported Obamacare, even though their own membership opposed it. And more recently, they've also aligned themselves with insane trans ideology, including support of things like Drag Queen Story Hour, believe it or not. So conservatives over 50 looked at that and said, you know, that does not represent me. AMAC was founded as the conservative alternative, an organization built on faith, the traditional family, personal responsibility, and the Constitution. So we believe that Americans should have a voice that reflects their values, not apologizes for them. And that's what's really powerful is that AMAC has grown into a real movement. We now have over 2 million members nationwide. These are patriotic Americans who love this country, support limited government, believe in protecting families, defending religious liberty, securing the border, supporting veterans and law enforcement. And so, you know, when people join AMAC, they're not just buying a membership card. They're joining a community that actually fights for the America they believe in.
It is such a much-needed community, a much-needed movement right now, Jonathan. You mentioned so many. The list goes on and on. So many threats to our freedoms, big government overreach to attacks on faith and family. How is AMAC fighting back on behalf of its members and mature Americans? Beyond advocacy, what real-world value does AMAC membership deliver?
Well, AMAC is fighting back every single day through AMAC Action. That is our 501c4 advocacy arm, which has become one of the fastest growing conservative grassroots organizations in the country. Last year, AMAC Action activated hundreds of thousands of advocates across the country. Members sent more than 80,000 messages to lawmakers. We participated in over 135 grassroots campaigns and helped pass more than 20 pieces of conservative legislation, even at the state level. So we've been deeply involved in the fight for election integrity, for instance, supporting voter ID laws, proof of citizenship requirements, banning ranked choice voting. And we've even helped recruit poll workers along with Turning Point USA to protect free and fair elections. We also have been active defending parental rights. Our own CEOs stood on the steps of the Supreme Court and advocated for that. We've opposed radical gender ideology in schools, fought back against critical race theory. On and on it goes. And, you know, one thing I think your audience would really appreciate, because it aligns so much with all that Charlie stood for, AMAC understands that this battle we're facing is not just political, it's cultural and it's spiritual too. And so that's why everything that we do is grounded in defending faith, family, and freedom. And, you know, you asked about beyond the advocacy, you know, what real world value. That's one of the things that people love most about AMAC. Members are supporting not only a cause that they believe in, but they're also getting tremendous practical value. Hundreds of discounts on things like travel, hotel, restaurants, insurance, roadside assistance. It's a membership organization for people who still love this country and want to preserve it for their children and grandchildren. So there's both practical value and purpose behind the membership.
My gosh, a lot of value, building community. What more could you want? Thank you so much for being with us today, Jonathan. And for all of our viewers, join AMAC today by going to amac.us/RAV. Again, that's amac.us/RAV. Thanks again, and we'll be right back.
Are diapers destroying your confidence? Men's Liberty is the answer for incontinence.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
I'm fueled up now. Woo!
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the RAV hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
People and the world about COVID, where it came from, and the COVID vaccine's efficacy, too. A whistleblower took the time to outline the scheme, but it was only to Republicans. Not a single Democrat showed up to hear what he had to say. Can you imagine? Democrats don't even care that you were lied to during COVID. A career CIA officer, COVID whistleblower. Listen to what he said.
Public health policy would have been very different had the American public been made aware that a virus from a lab in China was going to serve as the foundation for an emergency use authorization mRNA products being mandated by the former administration. Dr. Fauci's role in the cover-up was intentional. Dr. Fauci influenced the analytical process and findings by leveraging his position to ensure the IC consulted with a conflicted list of curated subject matter experts, public health officials, and scientists. This included some of the authors of the paper, The Proximal Origin of SARS-CoV-2, and other public health experts who have been in his orbit for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah. All right, so here's the thing. Ivy, with me now. Ivy, you and I talked about this for years in advance. We said it came from that lab. There's no other sensible, common sense explanation. It came from that lab in Wuhan. Absolutely. You and I were right, so therefore you and I were conspiracy theorists.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, too, I remember as this was starting to unfold, of course, I think in the beginning, everyone was a bit frightened. They didn't know what the heck was going on. What is this virus? And so we just dove into research. And I remember reading about a year or two before, Anthony Fauci put out a paper that there was going to be an upcoming pandemic that will change the world. And so I know you look at that stuff and then you look at it after the fact and you wonder, did he know the entire time?
Seems like it.
But when we begin to really look at that, it does make me just scratch my head and go, wow. Was it a social experiment?
Yes.
And did we all fail?
Yes. Well, some worse than others. Some are still failing. When you go to the grocery store and see some cat in a face mask, you're like, dude.
Well, face masks,
over.
Social distancing, in our state of Michigan, you couldn't buy paint. They actually took like the yellow tape, caution tape, and they just, cordoned off the outdoor area.
Yeah, the home and garden center off limits. Yeah, because
it's like I live out in the country and I can't do anything outside.
Yeah.
That was actually where we were supposed to be, outside in the sunshine, getting fresh air, getting sunshine, which is great for vitamin D, and builds up your immune system.
Greatest sanitizer ever created by God. Sunshine.
Oh my gosh. I just, I wonder, what do you think about the whole Anthony Fauci and vaccines and everything else?
I think it's sad. I do, because look, the statute of limitations is out. The pharmaceutical companies that produce this poison, known as the COVID vaccine, they're all protected and insulated.
Mm-hmm. Did he get a pardon?
What's that?
Did he get granted a pardon by Biden?
He did. By Biden or the auto pen. Somebody signed
That's
something.
true.
I don't know what signed it or who signed it, but did Joe Biden sign here? Okay, Joey's a good. No.
Right.
Joe Biden didn't sign anything knowingly.
Mm-hmm.
He was close to a vegetable at the end. And, look, the sad thing is that Anthony Fauci will never be held accountable, I don't believe, unless you can say, look, those pardons were garbage. But I think he's still beyond the statute of limitations. The fact of the matter is they played us. And, they played on fear. Like you said, we were all, we've got to do the right thing. But by the 15th of April, 2021, you remember in Lansing, Michigan, tens of thousands of people turned out to protest all these lockdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And by then, so early on, we were done with the masks. We weren't doing the social distancing, none of that stuff. But some people just held on. And like you said, the home and garden section here and public schools were closed. That was the biggest tragedy.
Yeah.
Public schools and keeping kids locked up at home for 2 years.
How detrimental that was to our kids.
Yeah, ours personally and everybody else's.
Well, I think, too, the mental health of just people in general. And it did change, I think, the world in that where we used to be very community driven, now you're not as much. And if you look around at society, we've become so much more isolated. And I think that was a bit of a side effect of that.
Well, one of the most outrageous things looking back to me, liquor stores were
open.
Essential businesses. Strip clubs were essential. But churches, close them all.
Essential.
I mean, did we get played? Was a social experiment? Of course it was. And as a result, we're still paying that. Look, you talking about mental health? You walk around the streets the same as I do. We're still paying the price for that. People just lost it. And it goes sometimes in this world.
People in their car with their mask on, 2 masks on, and their gloves, and it's like, oh my goodness, you're in your car by yourself.
They still haven't come back from the abyss.
Well, before we run out of time, I do want to talk about quickly the summit that's going on, and Trump and President Xi this morning giving some remarks. And one of the things that I found interesting, President Xi actually said, achieving the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation and making America great again can go hand in hand. I thought that was interesting that he said that. I know he is very, of course, concerned about tariffs with the trade war with them, and I know that the President Trump is really wanting China to help with Iran. I know that they have a lot of influence.
Well, they said
there.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
And they agreed. They agreed.
Yeah, they agreed with that. Yeah, that's
they
good.
Agreed.
But, I got to say this, Ivy, when he says the great rejuvenation of China and make America great again can go hand in hand, he doesn't mean any of it. He doesn't care what happens to America as long as he can use it as a stepping stone. And that's really what I believe. I don't think China gives one.
I do agree with that, but I also do believe that without the American economy and the goods that Americans buy from China,
it can't work.
That would be completely devastating to the Chinese economy. And I know that he realizes that. So it is a bit of a tap dance. It is a bit of a weighing of.
It is.
I don't care really, but I need you
for now, and that's my point. For now.
Yeah.
If they could ever get the upper hand and say, you know what, we're going to cut the American economy and it's going to be painful for us, but we'll win after a 5 years period or 10, they'd do it. Mm-hmm. China, they've got so many people and so much, they'll take the sacrifice for the win, if you will. Anyhow, Ivy, nice to see you. Love you.
Nice to see you. Love you.
She'll be back later, of course, as she appears more and more often. Best part of the show, right? I'll be right back.
Filter is America's #1 gutter protection system because it's built right.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
I'm fueled up now. Woo!
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the RAV hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
Hi, I'm Bridgie. And why do I love Rob? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
All right, jumping back into Daybreak, we have a special segment for you today. If you're struggling with thinning hair, you'll want to pay close attention because I think you'll find this helpful. Special guest with me today, Miss Laura Volpe. Ms. Volpe is a hair loss expert and trichologist, and she's going to share a simple, natural way we can get more volume out of that struggle with fine, limp hair. The product will promote thicker and fuller hair. Laura, nice to be here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So you've partnered with a company, Purance, who specializes in natural hair care. Tell me about it.
Absolutely, that's right. I partnered with Purance for two very simple reasons. One is that they use natural and organic ingredients that are backed by science and proven to work. It's really important to understand that in today's day and age, the consumer is becoming more aware of ingredients. So I love the fact that there are no harsh chemicals like you find in most skincare and hair care products. We're talking about ingredients like parabens, silicone, sulfates. So this makes Purance a really great option for women with sensitive and mature skin and for those who want cleaner ingredients in their product. And the second reason I partnered with them is because of their revolutionary 3-phase hair growth support system, which I love because it really simplifies how we achieve that plump, fuller looking hair in a more intentional way.
So tell me about it. It's called HydroLift shampoo. Is it easy? Is it complicated? How does it work?
Yeah, so Purance has an amazing shampoo called the HydroLift shampoo. And what makes this truly amazing is that 3-phase hair growth support system that I just mentioned. And this is really important because inside my hair loss clinic, I can help a lot of women get hair growth protocols, but nothing is really designed to plump, lift, and give volume to finer hair the way that the Puron's Hydra-Lift shampoo does. So let me break down how this works. The first phase is that root revival system. This phase dissolves the buildup in and around the follicles, that waxy buildup that can suffocate your follicles and stunt growth. This ingredient that makes it work so incredibly well is called cocoa glucoside, and this will allow your follicles to breathe again. That second phase is the hair thickening matrix. Now, this phase uses an ingredient called the hydrolyzed wheat protein, and what this does is it attaches to those weak miniaturized hairs, and it strengthens your hair from within. This is how you're going to get that lift, that plump, and that volume over time. And that third phase is the protective essence shield. And this phase is all about protecting your hair from environmental stressors. And Puron's uses a natural ingredient that will form an invisible shield in and around your follicles. And this will keep out all of those harsh chemicals and lock in those nourishing nutrients.
Great. And how do people find it? What do they do right now?
They can head on over to Purons.com and they can shop Purons. And they can, for a limited time, your viewers can get 35% off their order by entering a discount code early
Daybreak.
on the checkout page. Daybreak, sorry.
That's
and if
all
you
right.
love that Purons cares about the ingredients, they're going to use, like they would any other shampoo, 1 to 2 minutes, leaving it in to get that lift and that plump. Keep in mind that Purons offers a 365-day back guarantee. So if for any reason you're unhappy with the products, they will refund your entire order.
There you go, Laura. Well done. Thank you very much. Yeah, we changed it up on you. It's Daybreak now. Surprise.
Yes, Daybreak. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was my,
That's
thank
okay.
you. Daybreak,
Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Nice to see you again. By the way, it's Purons.com. The discount code is Daybreak. Get 35% off Hydra-Lift shampoo today. It is a product that people seem to like quite a bit. All right. I want to shift gears now. I was telling you about this at the top of the hour. The Southern Poverty Law Center has been completely discredited, indicted for committing crimes and directing money in places it shouldn't go, and for paying the Ku Klux Klan to go be the Ku Klux Klan, for example, so that they could then yell about white supremacy and racism and all that, right? Well, here's the problem with the Southern Poverty Law Center. For too many lefties, they've been a resource for years, including in your kids' and grandkids' textbooks at school. It's pretty frightening. Listen to this.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosalind Hansen. As you might recall or know, recently the Southern Poverty Law Center, or SPLC, was federally indicted based on evidence that they funneled nearly $3 million of donor money to pay actual KKK and neo-Nazi operatives, the same groups they claim to fight. Now, you're probably wondering what this has to do with curriculum. Well, the SPLC's Learning for Justice social justice standards are baked into our own social studies curriculum. MCPS has proudly championed it, and the SPLC even features us online bragging about how we are using their curriculum to re-educate white students so they could have the right historical knowledge. Educating kids a certain way based on their skin color seems pretty racist to me, but that makes sense now that we know that SPLC has literally been paying Klansmen. If an organization is willing to pay millions to manufacture the hate it's supposedly against, what's its curriculum designed to do? The truth is we've been catfished. Our classrooms have been hijacked by a nonprofit that lists Aryan Nation members as extremists while secretly funding them.
Yeah, while currently funding Aryan Nations. Patriot Front. Remember these clowns? You'd see them on video. They'd all show up, and they'd have, like, these masks on, and they're all in these uniforms. Bought and paid for, delivered to your neighborhood by the SPLC and maybe even government agencies. And it's all this performative nonsense to suggest that somehow there's a white supremacist hiding behind every tree. Give me a break. Look, my family's mixed. I don't care about any of this stuff. You know, I'm like the only one or two white guys on the Ivey side of the family. I don't care. You can call me names. Oh, you're a conservative. You're a white. It's garbage. That label does not stick to me, or to most people for that matter. The biggest thing that scares Democrats right now are black Republicans winning in places like that new Tennessee congressional district. That scares the hell out of the Democrats. It should. Because all these lifelong Democrats that happen to be black are going to say, wait a second, I don't have to be a Democrat? No, you don't. And when you see all this crazy behavior and open borders and boys and girls sports and all of this nonsense, you can say, well, there's an alternative, a sensible one, a common sense one. And the SPLC, I hope they get what's coming to them. That's for sure. I'll be right back.
"250 years ago, ordinary men and women did something extraordinary."
Hey there, everyone. Bo Davidson here. I have a great Mother's Day special in store for you this Sunday, May 10th, featuring interviews with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Sam Sorbo, and the matriarch of Palm Beach, internet sensation Sue Bell. I also composed a song specifically for this special called "She's My Mother." And you can give Mom a great gift by downloading the song from iTunes and adding it to a photo album montage of you and your mom. It will be a unique, personalized gift that she will love for years to come. So make sure to tune in this Sunday, May 10th, to see my Mother's Day special, The American Matriarch, right here on Real America's Voice. And give a musical gift to Mom that she will always treasure. Happy Mother's Day.
She's my mother.
A day do I have to look at and realize that fraud in this country is coming at us from every angle. You, the taxpayer, you go to work every day, you do what needs to be done, and then bam, somebody's trying to steal from you every single day. Here's one. ICE drops uncontrolled fraud bombshell involving thousands of foreign students and phantom employees. That's from your friends at ICE, right? It is. So there's one of them. Here's another one. J.D. Vance, you might have seen this yesterday. He came out. He's the fraud czar now, and he's finding lots of it. Can you imagine? Minnesota might be the poster child, but it's a small state. Wait till you start digging into the big states and find out how much fraud that they've been involved with over the years, right? And there's going to be lots of it. There's no question about that. Lots of it to be found. He says, by the way, does J.D. Vance, states that fail to crack down on Medicaid fraud are going to get cut off from federal funding. It's about time. It is about time. If they're allowing fraud to occur and they're not doing anything about it, shut it down. Just shut it down. You can either fix the fact that the American taxpayers are getting ripped off, or you will not get any money for it to be stolen. We're not going to give you money so it can be stolen. Pretty common sense stuff here. Of course, Democrats are going to be, they're being mean to people. They're going to cut off people and they can't get their food stamps. Stop it. They're not getting their food stamps anyway because that money's being shipped back to Somalia or wherever. So just stop it. We're a little worn out with all this gnashing of teeth and wringing of hands. I mean, I am. How about you? If they're just giving the money away to fraudsters, we're not taking money away from anybody, are we? The answer is no. By the way, how about a bright spot? It was 44 degrees yesterday morning. It's cold again this morning. Great morning for a muskox flannel. Best flannel shirt you're ever going to own. It's a great jacket for spring, too. You can use this thing all sorts of ways. It's heavy. It's rugged. It's an American company. It's muskox flannel. We love it here in Gruber Nation. We do. We love it. If you like hard work, you like American companies that support conservation, too, this is your company. Best flannel shirt you'll ever own, muskox. And right now, you can score $15 off. With the code HEAVYWEIGHT, Muskox. Go muskox.com. Go muskox.com. Promo code is HEAVYWEIGHT. You'll send me a thank you note. It's an investment, I realize, and it's a good one. Go muskox.com. Promo code's HEAVYWEIGHT. I'll be right back.
This is Fubo. It's your way to watch ESPN and other top sports networks.
Hey there, everyone. Bo Davidson here. I have a great Mother's Day special in store for you this Sunday, May 10th, featuring interviews with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Sam Sorbo, and the matriarch of Palm Beach, internet sensation Sue Bell. I also composed a song specifically for this special called She's My Mother. And you can give Mom a great gift by downloading the song from iTunes and adding it to a photo album montage of you and your mom. It will be a unique, personalized gift that she will love for years to come. So make sure to tune in this Sunday, May 10th, to see my Mother's Day special, The American Matriarch, right here on Real America's Voice. And give a musical gift to Mom that she will always treasure. Happy Mother's Day.
She's my mother. Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
This is Rashad from Boston, Massachusetts, and I love Real America's Voice. It is the best place for real news and content. Much love.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
Well, I saw it on CNN here just this week that they say that the generic ballot shows Democrats leading by about 3 points. The problem is that's not enough, especially with redistricting wins for the Republicans in Florida, Texas, Tennessee. You're going to have wins in Alabama and Louisiana as well, maybe South Carolina. A couple of Republicans there apparently don't want to be reelected, so they're fighting it. They'll get tossed. You watch. They will get tossed. And then, of course, Virginia. They spent $70 million to get shut down by the Virginia Supreme Court. And now the Democrats, with their hair on fire, say, well, we'll just get rid of all those people. We'll pack the Supreme Court. Because if they can't win legally and they can't even rig the courts, then they'll rig the courts permanently. Ali Triolo is here, RNC Director of Election Integrity. Ali, nice to see you this morning.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me, Steve.
Great to have you. Look, the Democrats, by any means necessary, but here's the problem for the Democrats. They have gerrymandered this country for years. You look at the maps in New England, there's not a single Republican there. You look at the maps in Illinois, it's 14-3. In California, it's grossly out of balance as well. And so the Republicans are like, if you want to play that game, we can play now. And suddenly the Democrats are getting beat at their own game. And, man, they are outraged at losing at their own game, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Democrats, we know they have been gerrymandering for decades, and finally they took it too far with gerrymandering by race. The Supreme Court, as you know, said that we can't do this anymore. It's against the Constitution to segregate voters by race. And of course, they're having a full-blown meltdown. I think what I do want to point out is that Republicans want to keep communities together. What we are fighting for is to make sure that each district actually represents the people that live in it. So we have seen a lot of successful wins within the past few weeks, Steve, and I'm thrilled to be joining you today to talk about how we are going to defy history and win the midterms.
All right. Well, I think that what it's going to take, look, if this conflict, I'll just say that, war, whatever you want to call it, in Iran gets wrapped up, the price of oil will come back to $75 a barrel. Gasoline will come back down. If there's a rate cut with Kevin Warsh, who was confirmed yesterday as the new Fed chair, that will put this economy on a path to real success long term. If that happens, the Republicans are in great shape. If it lingers longer, well, it might not do as well, but we'll see. But the fact of the matter is, by balancing the scales with Texas and Florida and these other states, it puts the Democrats up against it. They have to have about a 5 or 6 point lead in the generic ballot to have a chance of taking back the House, don't they?
Yeah, and Democrats are rudderless. You're talking about policy. That is the bread and butter of the Republican Party. We've already passed the largest tax cuts in American history. People are still feeling the benefits of that. I just got my tax return and was thrilled to see such a large number compared to when Biden was our president. We also are setting up generational wealth. President Trump creating the Trump accounts for newborn children. We have a president that is strong and decisive, combating terrorism, securing our border, and making sure that communities are safe. These are all tangible policy wins that we can point to. Speaker Mike Johnson came out yesterday and said that Republicans have continued to deliver on the promises made. We're keeping those promises, and we still have more legislation and more wins to go. Gas prices will come down. President Trump has been very clear. Just a little bit of rising in the gas prices were needed in order to stop terrorists from blowing up our world. I think that's a pretty fair trade. So I just want to say that here at the RNC, as we prepare for these midterm elections, we are fighting tooth and nail in court to make sure that the ballot box is secure. We also have started our initial push for our ground game. We have a multi-million-dollar investment in 17 states to make sure that there are boots on the ground to make sure the ballot box is secure, that we're mobilizing our voters, that we have Republican poll watchers and observers. This is going to be a key component as well to winning the midterms.
Yeah, and you look at some of the candidates they're putting up. Abdul El Sayed looks like he's going to get the nomination to be the Democrat candidate for Michigan, an openly anti-Semitic, anti-American candidate. You've got a guy in Maine, Graham Plattner, who sported an actual Nazi tattoo for 20 years. Oh, I didn't know what it was. Come on. You didn't know what it was? A Nazi tattoo for 20 years. And he's the candidate for Maine. I think Susan Collins wins by 10. I think that the Republican wins in Michigan by 2 or 3 for the first time in a long time. There'll be a Republican senator from Michigan. And look, Republicans have been guilty of this in the past, finding the worst candidates possible. Well, apparently it's the Democrats' turn, because here they are putting up terrible candidates, and it will result in Republican wins, I believe. Last word to you.
All I want to say is people in America want a safe nation, a secure nation, and a place that they can afford. If Democrats are putting up people that wear Nazi tattoos or anti-Semitics and really hate our nation, that is not how we are going to continue to see America prosper. So as far as I'm concerned, Republicans are in a great position to win the midterms, and we know that America takes protecting, and that is why it is key to make sure President Trump is not only a 2-year president, but a 4-year president by keeping Congress red. Thank you so much, Steve.
Allie, thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Always nice to see you. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Take care, my friend.
Thank you. Well, you use AI. We all do. You stream videos. You store everything in the cloud. But what if the digital world is transforming rural America? What if most people have no idea what's really coming? Next Monday on Forgotten America, the podcast, Ivy and I will sit down with an environmental health specialist and former Air Force bioenvironmental engineer, Kristen Megan Kelly. You saw her here talking about chemtrails. Well, she's got a lot more to talk about. She's going to expose the hidden side of the AI boom, massive data centers, exploding energy demand, water usage. One in Georgia used millions of gallons of water, impacting the local environment. And I want you to have a preview, okay? Listen.
Pause me for questions, because this is the biggest issue with data centers. But when I look at risk, when I'm assessing a hazard, I have to kind of triage it. And to me, the most hazardous aspect of these AI data centers and solar farms is the tonal noise. So when you think of noise, noise is just unwanted sound. And I've gone to enough of these meetings with Microsoft or even just the companies that are pushing the solar farms, and they all have the same very gaslighting rhetoric of beyond the fence, it's only 55. I'm sure you've heard of the term dB or decibels, right? When you're talking about hazardous noise. Here's the thing. When we are talking about exposure data to noise, the unwanted sound, you think of like loudspeakers or industrial equipment, right?
Sure.
Anything over 85 dBA, A is a certain frequency of measurement of decibels. All of the hazardous noise is measured into how the human body hears it. But tonal noise is low-level frequency noise that is only caught on different wavelengths called dBc and dBz. So to give an analogy, it's like you're in a very, very bright room and I put on sunglasses. Now we're analyzing that light through dBA. Well, when I take off the glasses and my eyes are burning, that's the unfiltered.
Yeah. It's a conversation you do not want to miss. We dig deep into this. The data centers, the spyware, the surveillance, all of it. And you can find it for free. Just search Steve Gruber on YouTube. Go to the Forgotten America podcast. It drops Monday, like I said. They do it every Monday morning at 9 a.m. It's free to subscribe, so become a subscriber for free today and catch this conversation. Again, she's also an expert on chemtrails. We're going to have her on for that topic again soon as well. So you want to get in, be a subscriber. Do that today at Steve Gruber on YouTube. All right, I'll be right back.
Whether you're a professional driver or just a fan, vehicle breakdowns are costly.
Hey there, everyone. Bo Davidson here. I have a great Mother's Day special in store for you this Sunday, May 10th, featuring interviews with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Sam Sorbo, and the matriarch of Palm Beach, internet sensation Sue Bell. I also composed a song specifically for this special called She's My Mother. And you can give Mom a great gift by downloading the song from iTunes and adding it to a photo album montage of you and your mom. It will be a unique, personalized gift that she will love for years to come. So make sure to tune in this Sunday, May 10th, to see my Mother's Day special, The American Matriarch, right here on Real America's Voice. And give a musical gift to Mom that she will always treasure. Happy Mother's Day.
She's my mother.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
This is Rashad from Boston, Massachusetts, and I love Real America's Voice. It is the best place for real news and content. Much love.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
All right, so we need more real men in America. We need more fathers. Toxic masculinity, I'll take more of it. I will. We need real men. Do you think there was toxic masculinity on the beaches of Normandy and 1,000 other places in American history? Come on. This attack on men is tiresome. And I'm declaring a war back to put men back where they belong. Jeffrey Tucker, founder and president of the Brownstone Institute, the author of many thousands of articles in 10 books in 5 languages, including Liberty or Lockdown. He writes a daily column on economics for the Epoch Times. He joins me now. Sir, nice to see you.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
All right, so you say it's time to bring back the word man. I don't know that it ever left my vocabulary, but that's one of your articles. The other article says, where have the men gone? You have a theme here, don't you?
It seems like I do have a theme. That wasn't by design, but one day I wrote about the problem of the labor markets and men, where you have something like a third of all working age men between 16 and 65 seems to have vanished from the workforce. We've never seen anything like this. This was in the whole post-war period, and that crucial age group of 25 to 54, I believe it is. Back in 1950, that was basically everybody was working, 98% of men, and that has fallen such that about 11% of those men are completely gone from the workforce. And overall, and for men in general, there's a demoralization that's set in. Yeah. And since I wrote that article, and I provided all the data and some explanations, some other discussion of it, but I've gotten just this wave of correspondence. I'm talking about hundreds, even 1,000 notes from people explaining the specifics of what's going on with men having lost a sense of purpose, spending all their time gaming, OnlyFans, living with mom. They don't know mom and dad, they don't know what to do about it, but just a kind of a loss of purpose. And I think that's really the core of the problem here. Yeah, the job markets are tight. It's true.
They're not that tight, Jeffrey. Look, we've got. Yeah, I saw this from Mike Rowe, a guy who's out there fighting this same fight every day, and he put a number to it. He said there are 7 million American men, working age men today, that are sitting on the couch. They're gaming, they're vaping, they're doing whatever. They're living in mom's basement, as you point out. It is shameful, is what it is. And I don't what created this? What created a place where men think they can just sit on the couch and do nothing?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a cultural deprecation of men in general. They feel like the workplaces are all feminized, ruled by HR. The women have all the advantages. They get in trouble if they look sideways. So they're not interested in corporate life that they once were. But they're not really trained for Mike Rowe kind of jobs. They're like real jobs. And because they have these college degrees that are mostly bogus, and they're not marketable, and they're not willing to take a lower wage, and they're just not prepared for work. I'm sorry to say. I think this country took a really bad turn when we stopped emphasizing jobs in middle school and high school. This was the time when young men really learned the work ethic and learned how what it meant to do hard work and get paid for it. And instead, we've just stuck them in desks and classrooms and pushed them all the way through college. And now they're stuck with 6-figure debts.
Well, I think in fairness, Jeffrey, I think it starts in elementary school, because the teachers, who really aren't teachers anymore because they stuff an electronic device in front of them and say, hey, watch the video. But if boys are jumping around in the classroom like boys do, they get tossed out of class. They get in trouble. They want little boys to act like proper little girls. That's where it starts, and then it tracks all the way through. We end up with this problem we have. I also want to point out the colleges and universities giving out degrees that aren't worth the paper they're written on. I have said for years, and I believe this, the universities have to be co-signers on these loans. If you're going to give somebody a communications degree and $50,000 in debt, if it's 5 years down the line and that college degree has not produced appropriate income, then you, university, you college, you are on the hook. You've got giant endowments. You can pay the freight, and I bet that would change things.
Well, you mentioned about elementary school, and what immediately came to mind is that 1 in 10 children is on a psych drug right now, and they're called ADHD. Settle down. Here's your sedative, and these are disproportionately given to the boys so that they'll get good at just sitting and being bored all day in a classroom. And this is a catastrophe, really. I mean, you're right that the public schools and elementary school are not good places for boys. They're not prepared for that, and they're not really given freedom otherwise. The world has been massively changed. They're expected to behave like robots. The only way you get them to behave like robots is with drugs, and apparently a third of college students are using drugs like Adderall and much stronger drugs, and this continues all the way into the workplace. So yeah, men feel excluded from the culture now in ways that are kind of remarkable. Now, you mentioned my second article. This is a funny article because this is about the one-time use of the word man to describe humankind, like mankind was the same as humankind. And then suddenly, decades ago, people decided that it was wrong, to use this word.
It's crazy. It is. I have to leave it there because we're getting up to a break, but here's what I want people to know. Where can they find you every day?
Well, every day I'm at Epoch Times, and I love writing there every day. I also run Brownstone Institute. I write there about once a week. But thanks so much for having me.
Well, Jeffrey, I'd love to have you back because it's a war on men and manhood pronouns and everything else. I'll have you back anytime because it's a topic that we need to keep talking about because we need to reinstill manhood into our culture. Sir, thank you.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it. All right, speaking of manhood, we'll have Brock in sports. After this, Brock is a real man, by the way, after this.
This is a bottlenose dolphin, and this is the breakthrough nutrient doctors discovered.
Hey there, everyone. Bo Davidson here. I have a great Mother's Day special in store for you this Sunday, May 10th, featuring interviews with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Sam Sorbo, and the matriarch of Palm Beach, internet sensation Sue Bell. I also composed a song specifically for this special called She's My Mother. And you can give Mom a great gift by downloading the song from iTunes and adding it to a photo album montage of you and your mom. It will be a unique, personalized gift that she will love for years to come. So make sure to tune in this Sunday, May 10th, to see my Mother's Day special, The American Matriarch, right here on Real America's Voice. And give a musical gift to Mom that she will always treasure. Happy Mother's Day.
She's my mother.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
This is Rashad from Boston, Massachusetts, and I love Real America's Voice. It is the best place for real news and content. Much love.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
All right, let's check in on sports with our good friend Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. The Cleveland Cavaliers took a 3-2 lead over the Detroit Pistons with a 117-113 overtime victory last night in Detroit in Game 5 of the NBA's Eastern Conference semifinals. James Harden led the Cavs with 30 points. Donovan Mitchell added 21. Cade Cunningham had 39 for the Pistons in defeat. Game 6 tomorrow night in Cleveland. Brett Kulak scored at 3:52 of overtime to give the Colorado Avalanche a 4-3 victory over Minnesota. In Game 5 of the NHL's Western Conference semis, the Avs clinched the series 4-1. Colorado will play either Vegas or Anaheim in the Western Conference finals next week. A full schedule of games in the majors yesterday. American League winners included Baltimore, Cleveland, and the Athletics. National League winners included Atlanta, Miami, and San Diego. 4 games in the WNBA last night. Winners were Toronto, Chicago, Indiana, and Las Vegas. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
All right, Brock, thank you for that. Of course, President Trump continuing today in Beijing. There's a state banquet being held at this hour. He's there, obviously seated next to dictator Xi. We'll have continuing coverage all day long of that visit and what comes out of it. Important thing so far, the dictator Xi has said that we need to have great relations when it comes to trade. They don't like the tariffs, of course, so there's some negotiating room there. When it comes to AI, a lot of conversations there. When it comes to Taiwan, well, that's a sticky wicket, to say the least. China believes that Taiwan is a rogue state and still part of China. Taiwan doesn't see it that way. Neither does the United States, but we'll see where it goes. And, of course, the most immediate concern is Iran. China has said today, Iran should never have a nuclear weapon. We agree, but we don't trust the Chinese. How can you? They've got 700,000 student spies here in our country and everything else that goes on. China may say nice things like they want America to be great again, but what do they really mean? They want China to dominate the world. That's what they really mean. Everything under heaven. They have a saying in China, everything under heaven belongs to China. And they believe it. We'll follow the summit throughout the day and tomorrow here. Greatly appreciate you being here. And don't forget, tomorrow, Free Speech, Free for All Friday. Your chance to weigh in on the Patriot Mobile Common Sense Hotline from anywhere in America. I'll take your calls and sort it out. Another hour straight ahead.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul. For 50 years, I've watched Washington.
Hey there, everyone. Bo Davidson here. I have a great Mother's Day special in store for you this Sunday, May 10th, featuring interviews with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Sam Sorbo, and the matriarch of Palm Beach, internet sensation Sue Bell. I also composed a song specifically for this special called She's My Mother. And you can give Mom a great gift by downloading the song from iTunes and adding it to a photo album montage of you and your mom. It will be a unique, personalized gift that she will love for years to come. So make sure to tune in this Sunday, May 10th, to see my Mother's Day special, The American Matriarch, right here on Real America's Voice. And give a musical gift to Mom that she will always treasure. Happy Mother's Day.
She's my mother.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.